everyone. My name is Jorge Torres. I'm a student from the University of UNAT, Universidad Nacional Abierta y a Distancia. And this presentation is about teaching materials in ELT. This is the subject, the specific subject is to look into for designing teaching material. Okay. What should English language learning ELT materials have? In this case, we're gonna talk about we have materials, right? We have maybe a laptop, we have I don't know, tasks that we put to our students in class, we have books, we have guides, everything, right? Activities. We're gonna look into what these materials should have, what are the main items that makes them important and useful. Materials should achieve impact. What does this mean, right? This means that the material that you share with your students needs to have impact on them. So, for example, if I am sharing a I don't know, a video about a conversation, uh, we need that this video in this conversation that we share in this video has have the topic that we were checking, maybe on the board that we were using, or the conversation that we were having with a student, right? So for example, if we are teaching the verb to be, right, this conversation should have and it needs to have the verb to be, right? So that the students can notice that in the video that we're sharing, and realize that the topic is used, right? Another thing we have is that materials should help learners to feel at ease, right? What does that mean? Feel at ease, right? That the student feel comfortable with the material, right? That is easy to use, right? That is easy to manage. That you can find it, like maybe if you're sharing a web page, that is a web page that is easy to find, um, that there are no problems maybe logging in or searching for information, right? So that's a good thing um, about materials, right? They need to be easy to use mostly. If I am, for example, if I'm in a class and I have a board and I have I don't know, markets, they should be useful for the student, right? They should be working. I know that that sounds like the more logical thing, but sometimes we forget about that. Materials should help learners to develop confidence. So, if for example I have a task, right, and I give some papers to my students, and they read and ask me some questions, and they got it from homework, right? These guides, these activity guides, or these tasks, they need to be easy to manage also. Why is that? Because the student is going to read these papers, answer these questions that we created for them, and they're gonna feel like this is what I have and this is what I like to do, right? This is what I like, I'm able to do. So they are going to create confidence. Another thing, materials should require and facilitate learning self-investment. What does it mean? They need to be they need to go the extra mile, right? And how do they do that? When you don't understand something or you want to check a video, uh, that material that you share with them should make them go ahead and find something else, right? Find something like a video, extra materials, I don't know, extra information, right? That is the main thing about self-investment, that they share something so that they can feel better and feel themselves with more information on the topic that we were checking in class. Materials should expose learners The materials should expose the learners to language in authentic use, right? Um, this means that students need to be exposed to the language, in this case English, that we're like checking in class and everything, right? So I will say that is like it's not negotiable that you share a task, and for example the instructions are in Spanish, right? Because that's not what we are teaching English. So everything in our classes, our materials, our dictations, everything needs to be in the target language, which is English, right? Because we are teaching and learning English. So that's mainly the thing, right? If we're sharing a video, it needs to be in the target language. If we're sharing, I don't know, tasks on guides on papers, they need to be in English full. If we're sharing maybe a tape, a conversation on a tape, then it needs to be in English. Everything. Materials should provide the learners with opportunities to use the target language to achieve communicative purposes. What does this mean? If I'm sharing a video and I don't know, I want my students to do a role play, right? Okay, guys, I want you guys to let me know about verb to be. Please use it in a conversation. I want to hear you guys, right? So that's how they're going to do and achieve communicative purposes, because they're going to learn from that material, right, that we share with them, and appropriate and then share with their mates, with their inmates, with the student mates, right, with the classmates, sorry, right? That's what we mostly needed. Okay, then we have another subject: proposals for principal approaches to the development of ELT materials. Okay, so mostly this is about like what do we have on different I don't know, methods, strategies. So for example, we have some materials on multimedia. Right now we have a lot of things about the technological development, right? So what we need is to share that with our students. We need to be on this century, on this decade. Everything is on a phone, right? So we need to share some YouTube videos. We need to share some web page, new web page, where we can check, I don't know, tasks, exams, quizzes, right? Everything, because our students are out in that environment all the time. They have their phones in class. So if we have students that are maybe like distracted from the class because they're using their phone, okay, then we must use that in take advantage of that, so that our students use it for their own uh, learning process, right? So I would say that um, for example, when I was a student in class, my teacher, like, that was like 8 years ago, she designed a web page where we could like share videos. For example, she left a speaking test, right? So you can tape yourself in video, like low quality, because it was really low quality, and then you could like upload that to the web page, and everyone in the class, um, then we will be able to check on the videos and feedback from our teacher, feedback for our classmates, right? That is a really good thing, or a good proposal, um, in which we can use the materials, right? For example, I want my students to sing me a song in in English, so I can check on pronunciation, right? So how are they going to bring that song? They're going to use their phone, right? They're going to use YouTube. They're going to use, I don't know, web page. So that's how we must use the ITCs in order to improve our teaching, right? And mostly that. We have to use our boards. We have to make the students use it too. When we have papers, everything. That's mostly about all the proposals that we as teachers need to do, because it is a new era. We have millennials, we have centennials, people that are already prepared, and we have to be prepared for them too. Okay? Thank you so much for your attention.